island over there, so I don't know. But
gonna close out. I don't know why my freaking internet, like my not even my internet, it's my like network connection or whatever the fuck, like. You know.
Never be able to do something like this.
I'm a little worried because Smock's still building his island over there, so I don't know. Both sides look very appealing. Smock's gonna have to get off of there with the other person jumping with him, so we're gonna have to see what Soul can do in the middle, because Soul's gonna have to cut off as much space as possible, not letting people over. Definitely doing that, but is going to have people behind, which is going to be a problem. So we're going to see a 1v1 right here, trying to get the grab, trying to get the jumps. Oh my lord, let's see how Smock goes. Smock doesn't have much left, and that was a really well played there by Smock.
Smock clutches the 1v2 to start it here in round 1 of semifinals. He was down and out for the count, but let me tell you there, he made it happen. And that is what I was saying here in the beginning, that anything can happen. Wow.
Yeah, and we're going to, one moment, we're going to flip right back over to the analyst desk so we can talk about that some more. Oh my lord, that was a game 1. I told you guys I was hyped for these games, and that just woke me up. It brought me to my senses to realize, guys, I wasn't hyped enough. I was not hyped enough for this. I need to get more hyped. Guys, we ended up from what as soon as we get the scores updated, I'll let you guys know. They'll pop up on the screen like usual. Losing reserve that early, and I think it sounded like they lost him without Ryan going down. That was a kudos swing in one way. That was kudos that you had to make back. And then the next round, you lose Ryan LYK. That means you're still in the lead. Dynasty has this little bit of lead, but Slightly Salted came back, got the gold in that wall, guys, to counteract the first gold that Soul got. So we're killing off all those. There's no medal leads anymore. And then pulling that win right there was so clutch, because now you're only going to be behind that second medal worth, which is probably 70 kudos, plus the 50 kudos to make the next round. So, and then you counter that with your crown. So you're looking probably around 610 area in favor of reserved and Smock on Slightly Salted. That's going to be a big lead, but it's not a full crown distance, which is what you're aiming to get. Because until you're there, one crown turns the whole map. You can't sit and play defense until you have more defense than the game can offer.
Exactly. You know, that was just
50 other people all together to get enough of a medal advantage. So I guess the medals didn't go in too much of a favor during that DoorDash that we actually saw it. So honestly, if Dynasty can get through this next round, go even on medals and pull the crown, this is going to be a dead even tie. As long as they're holding medal. And this is very interesting because usually from games you see with Dynasty, it usually comes down to Souls just running the map, Souls getting gold, and Smock showed up. Smock showed a gold.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a challenge because Dynasty's normal point advantage that they get to lay on that little bit of pressure, they're not getting it. All of a sudden, Slightly Salted is a team stepping up saying, we're not allowing you to exert this pressure. We're not making you make us get a crown. We're going to make it so you guys have to give up another crown like this.
Don't worry about it. Oh, they messed up. Hey, they messed up. Just be careful. I mean, try to get first above NPCs, but they both like messed up.
Matchup maneuvers, but Smock's flying through.
It's just absolute. I'm staring. I'm just baffled at this gameplay because I would be over in the back right now, understanding how the axes were working or how all of the spikes would be moving, and I would just be frustrated out of my mind. But there he is, already qualifying here, pulling off a gold or a silver, I believe.
Yeah, that was actually really good on Soul, being able to get through that and still pulling off the silver right there. But Smock getting another gold, actually pulling them out of this. If it goes even from here and even getting the crown on Dynasty, Salty's still going to be ahead by that 35 kudos. And that's why I'm saying these gold medals, these silver medals, just doing better and placing better as a medal than your opponent will pull you ahead just that little bit, which makes it completely matter, that much of a difference.
And that will build on top of each other throughout the game. You know, if you can just outwittingly go for those gold medals consistently, time and time again, like you're saying, it'll add up, and there will be no way to stop you.
But I mean, everyone here likes a good underdog story, so I would love to see Slightly Salted step up and take on Dynasty. But the Dynasty is just that. They have been such a dynasty that they are here with that 11-3 record. They got seed number 1 for a reason.
And that is tough competition to go up against as well. When you have that backing, when you have the numbers on your side, I wonder what goes into the mind of Smock and the Slightly Salty boys over with Reserved Comic as well, understanding that these players are not meant to play. They are here to win, and Smock and Reserved Comic wanting to step up their game as well to just really pull out this W and continue on getting their crowns and make a run for the Dynasty's money.
So this is going to be an interesting one because it's not so much where you spawn in this map. It's you want to make sure that you're going through the right or left side, whichever one has more people if you're in the first rotation, because it's going to help you push a little bit further ahead. So everyone's going to be dropping down, taking the slime fall, take the jump at the end, try and get as much distance as you can. And you'll see that there's a lot of people on the right and left about even. So there's going to be a fight to try and get to those rotators, that little box area first. And it looks like both sides is going to make it relatively even. And all 4 of our players are coming through for a race. This is another one of those moments where first place really matters. And everyone's thinking about that across the board. This is going to be a lot of stress for our players. Not trying to take too many hammer attempts.
I don't think any of them got first.
And there is the push.
Yeah,
So
and
tell
no
me a
one
little
got
bit
first
what
there.
just happened there? Sorry about that.
So
Continue.
so what was going on is you saw Soul going for the left side, and he saw Smock trying to get that gold right there. So he actually turned on Smock and made sure that he blocked him off a little bit, which made an NPC pull first place, but it allowed everyone else to get a silver, which means that we're staying at that even point. So this means even if Dynasty get the crown, they're still 35 behind. So that means this is a lead of 770 for Slightly Salted right now.
Except it's not, because I got bronze.
And there they are, inching their way again here. That is how close this can come to be. You know, seeing all 4 of them side by side throughout the entirety of that map. And here we are moving on to, I believe, Hoverboard Heroes. So this is more of a survival gameplay compared to more of a race. So what goes on in this game?
So this is a more survival map where basically there's a bunch of obstacles that you're seeing us float through on the people's screens right now that you will be going through, basically like your Ninja Warriors or your Wipeouts. You're just trying to survive the map. And they didn't get too hard of a variation, but the question is, are we going to see a lot of grabbing plays? How aggressive are these people going to get? I don't expect to see Slightly Salty be aggressive at all, as they're just ahead. And I expect to see Dynasty be the only team that would get aggressive, if anyone, right now.
And here you are. It seems that the move to be on this map is to really just stay with the herd, kind of stay huddled in the center as the cannons shoot out all of the objects. And this is where the RNG can come into play, where one thing can knock you astray and someone can get the grab push off you. But let's see how they go pushing towards these obstacles. Is there any kind of shortcuts that you want to point out that can happen on here as well? Like, are you allowed to use those lasers, or what can you do here in this map?
I promise you, you're about ready to see a bunch of shortcuts go off right now.
All right. Oh, look at that! He just jumped off the banner to the top. That's insane.
And then you can grab the speakers up here. This is a much more common route. You don't have to deal with the lasers or anything, but you see a fight going on between Soul and Smock.
Yeah.
He pushed down Soul. Soul's going to be a little bit behind. He's going to have to make some moves.
Wow. Yeah, Soul taking advantage. Oh no, not the Elim from Smock.
Let's go.
Holy
Yeah, that was Soul who ended up
fucking
fighting back on
shit,
Smock.
bro.
He ended up making sure that Smock did not get through.
Yo.
That was a really clean play, all done by Soul there. So that's going to put them in an advantage again. So this is going to be reserved Comic now having to step up against Soul and Ryan right now.
And this is where the underdog adrenaline comes into play, taking the stim shot like Octane. And here you have reserved Comic. Let's see this man go into Juggernaut mode. I want to see some cracked gameplay here because I am excited to see if the Dynasty can pull ahead and make this a tie game.
Yeah, and now Smock's just thinking, all right, I did it once. I got the crown whenever my partner went out. Now it's just Reserve's turn to just return the favor right here. Even the same map, they're offering the same setup.
This is their
Let's see
time
another
to take it.
wall, guys. So we're going to see some interesting plays. We'll see if Soul and Ryan decide to do anything fancy. It does look like they are playing aggressive, though, with that turnaround grab. That was a very ballsy play. And honestly, Smock was really close. Smock could have thought about trying to hit the flippers and going for it, but that would have been the only play there. But looking into this wall, guys, we're going to watch Reserve Comic, try and see how he's going to navigate this path and if it's going to be faster. He's doing a very clean path right now. He just has that banana guy who's really in front of him and this monkey now. Other than that, he's keeping up with the herd.
There's a path to the left. You see it.
Here he is jumping across, finding this left pass. There seems to be at least 6 to 7 other beans there, taking a little bit of that space. Here you have Soul Reed as well. What does he seem to be doing? Is he setting up for his teammate as well so that they can get the advantage?
Yeah, Soul is setting up right now because with only 9 qual, they just want to make sure Reserved can't make it. So they're going to be a little problematic if they can get next to Reserved if he doesn't make it. I expect to see one of them sit back with him to make sure he can't, because we're only seeing 9 people qualify from this. And this is going to really put people behind because we did get 1 through, and I think there was a second person up there that can qualify. So they're going to have to figure out how they want to cross. And the problem is with Reserved here by himself, he's got a 1v2 scenario he has to fight through. So you see them going over there. You see Soul trying to figure out what path. He's found the path he wants. He gets that dive. That was a really cheeky dive right there. He's going to go up and over, no problem. But the other side's starting to go, so he's going to have to go quickly. But Reserved is a little behind. We'll see if he ends up making it.
So was that qualify as a silver medal for Soul, Reserved as well being able to qualify to go into finals. So as well, does that mean they all get silver medals here going into the next round?
No, so how the medals work is first place gets a gold medal in a race, and then the top 20% of people going into the round get a silver medal, and then the top 50% that's not 20 get a bronze medal. Anyone in the bottom 50% that qualifies just get a regular pink medal.
Understood. Okay. And the classic hexagon.
So hexagon's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a challenge for Reserved. With 2 people on the opposing team, what you're going to see very quickly is either Soul or Ryan are going to run straight over to Reserved and try and drop them. So that way they always are going to maintain height, and they might just have one person focus killing them as soon as they have the win on their side. So that way Smock can't, or Reserved cannot stall out time.
So if they all have the same idea here, you're going to see a lot of battling in between to see who can stay on this top tier and find a nice little strafe, maybe inchworm their way. You got Soulstare and Smock both on the yellow, both dropping to the blue here finally. Reserve Comic fighting along as well. Now, I believe, where is Ryan at this point?
Ryan is above. They actually left a lot of space for Ryan if you would have saw Soul pass off. But Ryan will eventually drop because they're going to use all the tiles because a lot of the players are actually pretty good at this game anymore, and they know how to not waste tiles. But you see this inchworming by Soul. Soul doesn't want to waste any space. And they're running off all this space, making sure that reserve does not have anywhere to go. That was really well done. And misses a dive that could have reserved, that could have gotten a couple spots right there for Soul, but not being able to pull it off. But you see him chasing closely behind reserve, making sure he's cutting off any kind of tiles that reserve can use. And now he's cutting off a little space for himself. He has a really nice space potentially, depending on who's on the other side.
Well, a tactical play from Ryan to cut off reserved, and he's getting pushed as well, pushing him down to purple. Reserved having to go find a little bit new territory, maybe cut him off before he can get his another chance at fighting off here to the final. Only one elimed so far. Oh, 2 levels from reserved. He's on the final level. And what is this tactic here? He's going for the dodges, trying to skip one honeycomb at a time. Does that help you secure yourself an island in later game?
Okay. Yeah, just keep running that
So
way.
what that's for mainly is making, you see a grab going by Soul. Soul's going for the attack. What he was doing was making it so it was harder for NPCs to run out the board, giving more time for the players up top to come back. So there's going to be a fight here, and it's just going to be ran out. That's basically all Soul's trying to do, is just run out any space, make sure that reserve can't do anything. So reserved's going to die right here. Now the question is, does Ryan still get the win? It should be, but the question is, does he pull off the win there?
Let's fucking go. Let's go, baby.
I believe
It does
it's looking
sound like it.
Yeah, they sound pretty enthused. Ryan looks like he might have taken the W here.
Yeah, so with that win right there, that's going to put them right back in the game. But with the change in medals, it's definitely going to go in favor of Dynasty because of the lost person, but I don't know if it's going to go in favor of Dynasty just because of the medal exchanges. But from being in all those extra rounds, Dynasty is going to pull up a couple more kudos. And the crown on top of that, I expect to see about a 300 to probably about a 300-point lead going in the favor of Dynasty, which isn't the biggest thing ever. So that round, I can't say much other than Slightly Salty needs to qual. Like that's all there is to it. They're showing good rounds. They're showing strong.
Just so much falling and so many opportunities to just get bonked off, and there's so many open spaces that would personally scare me. I would be playing this map super safe. Another fall. You know, look, these are pro players, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the best of the best. And a simple misinput can bring you back an entire checkpoint.
Nice.
Just so you are aware, what these checkpoints are doing, every time you saw them hit those walls and then fall off, they're actually triggering the next checkpoint, and they're checkpoint manipulating, so that way they go further on the map instead of backwards. So what they do is they hit the tip of where the checkpoint is. They go forward on the map even though they didn't make it forward. And like I was saying earlier, this is a race back and forth, just constantly. And NPC took first, so that's...
I have problems with this map, personally, Neon. Let me tell you something. The Fruit Shoot and I don't get along. Alright?
Just watch these players.
I have lost many a game. To this
You're going to learn how to do Fruit Shoot. I expect Reserve Comic and Smock to qualify in about 15 seconds.
Alright, let's see it.
Oh, we actually do.
There's a thing back there? How do they...
Yeah, sometimes there is a Yeetus in the back, and they actually got bad yeets. You can if you get a good enough yeet, you can almost get to the top of this. But that's actually really big. That's going to be a first place for Smock and going towards Slightly Salty again.
Just to throw them off their
So with that gold and silver as well with reserved, tell me, does that give them a little bit of a better chance at finding themselves to maybe a lead potentially if they can get this gold crown at the end?
So if whoever gets the crown does have the lead, the crown is worth 735 kudos. So definitely going to be in the lead. Whoever wins this has a strong lead. But what Slightly Salted is worried about with these gold medals is they want to catch up that 300-point deficit that they're behind, that 295 deficit, because that 295 is the difference between going into a round and only being behind one crown. to tie it or to win it versus being behind 1 crown to not even catch up yet, because the opponent has also been getting these medals here and there and being up an extra 300.
All right. So let's see what we got going on here next. Ooh, another survival block party.
All right, I've said that no one can die on these maps, and then I watched Joshin play in week 5 or 4, and he doesn't die, but he should have. But the delay was just enough that he survived. It was stupid. It was a stupid scenario. If anyone was here watching, they know exactly what I'm talking about. But all I gotta say is I don't think you can die in this map if you have enough of a delay anymore.
Now, let's say it was a 2v1 in this situation here. Would you go for a double play move to try to sabotage the other team to secure the 2-and-out here for the match?
So the thing is, you don't want to do that now. Doing that now is what I would never teach. I've never coached a team this way to ever do this, because the point is, if it's a 2v1 in this kind of scenario, you're already getting more points. So why not get everyone into the next round and get more points on top of your more points, instead of maybe make a mistake and then all of a sudden it's 1v1 and you don't get bonus points. Make it so that you're in the final, you've gotten the max amount of kudos that you can.
Wow, Big Bad Beans won their first fucking game. Then again, we won our first game. So.
Whichever one is more much more better up for it. The only risk at that is the opponent, if they get the 2v1, they get the crown, but you've been stacking up a bunch of kudos round after round.
Yeah, so having that buildup of kudos going into potentially, if they were to bring this into the final round as well, you know, let's say they were just building that up, they could, you know, bring themselves up. How many points? 1,200, 800, 900 realistically? You know, we're going to see what happens.
It's not his fault. I mean, it's a...
All right, they got the easy rotation at the end. If they would have gotten the hard one, I would have said we need to keep our eyes on Soul, because I saw him put his hands on Smock so many times, it wasn't even funny.
I was getting my hands put on me the whole fucking game.
And
so it does look like everyone's going to qualify.
Oh, we both said that at the same time.
Yeah. So we're going to be going on to this next round, and with 17-16... we're looking at 11 people. We're most likely going to be going into a final. Possibility it won't, but it's a very low chance that we don't see a final right here. Oh! And this is a big one, because this is a final where you and your teammate could both get a crown. So this could be a 1,470 kudo swing if done right by either team.
Are there any other final maps here that you can get a double crown, or is Jump Showdown the only possible one?
You can do it on every final but Royal Fumble. This is the easiest one. The next easiest one is Roll Off. Then after that,
I'd say Ice and then Roll Off, but it just...
in a competitive format like this, probably Fall Mountain would be the next, which means you have to frame perfect grab the crown at the same time your teammate does on the other side. And even on top of that frame perfect grab, you have to do it with the desync of each player. But we're seeing something interesting, because we got, as you see right now, Reserve's on one side by himself. If the other side breaks apart and that's the only side, sadly that's not what happened. If the other side would have broken, Reserve would have just won by being on the correct side right here. So we're actually going to see a lot more problems, because now Smock's going to have to deal with a 1v2 over here, and it's going to be a problem, because if they just kill one off, it's over. So Smock's got 1v2. As long as Reserve can jump this out, though, Reserve's going to get at least one crown for his team.
Is there still a potential for Reserve to have the final one? Or is it most likely going to be the one with most of the beans?
It always goes down. And this is it. This is going to be the rest of the game until that 5-minute marker. This map is going to speed up more and more. But with Smock falling, that's actually going to be really bad, because with both Ryan and Soul still alive, this is going to potentially be 2 crowns going to Dynasty and 1 going to Salty. Good job, Salty, for getting the crown, but that's still a crown in favor of Dynasty. So it's not the worst thing. Like, as soon as The issue with splitting, what they did there was a great move, because if the two paths that would have broken were the ones under Soul and Ryan, they would have had to do a bar jump to survive, which would have been a risky chance. But by staying in this situation and risking it, they were able to get a 2v1 scenario that they won, and now they can focus on just jumping it out and only dealing with reserved for 2 crowns to 1 crown.
Do you want to take the outside, or are you...
And here it is the final 3. It's a 1v1 now. It looks like it's going to be Soul and Reserved. Let's see who takes it.
We also have Ryan in the corner of that map. It's kind of weird trying to see him, but if you look at Smock's screen, you can kind of see Ryan LYK over there.
Oh, there are 3. I said 8 out of 10 limit. I forgot there's 11 left.
Yeah, it's because it's because 2 need to be eliminated for the game to be over with 1 standing.
Yeah, so it is a 2v1. Ryan creeping in the corner as well. Reserved gonna have to clutch out. At least they are all by themselves now, so it is just up to who can jump the best.
Yeah, we're probably going to end up seeing a 5-minute timeout by these people. I don't expect to see anything less. Probably go into a 5-minute timeout. Reserve's got a lot of stress, because if he dies here, that's going to put a 2 crown plus the Kudo lead, plus any amount of Kudo lead that they had in Dynasty's favor instead of just a 1 crown. So Reserved Comic needs to survive just to not lose a potential 2 crown lead.
So this is big money. This is all up to Reserved. Let's see if he can prevent that 2 crown deficit and giving Dynasty.
800 to 1,000 of them minimum have been just from Jump Showdown. Jump Showdown is what a lot of the top players will consider is a free win map. If you hit this map, as long as you don't get grabbed or get to a position like this where you're not going to get grabbed, it should be a free crown for everyone, unless you make an error. And the only mistake that could happen in this game anymore is there is an issue occasionally with your jump button being eaten, and it won't actually register the jump button, which can actually ruin you, because if you just miss a jump in this game and you get hit, you're off the map. And as you heard him say, 453, they're right there. They're at the end of the game, and Soul is the luckiest person in the world.
Wait, that jump!
All right, guys, we are going to go back to the analyst desk, tear that down of what we just saw there. Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. So Soul probably timed it. Soul is really good at knowing the timing. In all honesty, it looked phenomenal. It looked like a close call. But knowing Soul, what he probably did was jumped off or purposely got hit by the bar, knowing that there was no way to fall off the map in time, die. That means Reserved was in the best case scenario.
If only that were the case, it would have made it a much more interesting round 4. But Dynasty, once again, holding on to that 1,005-point lead, leading with 4,455 against a 3,460 from the Slightly Salty squad. This is coming down to the final 2.
We're going to get interesting from here. We got games 4 and 5 coming up left. And guys, just as we say it, we're going to flip back over. So what's good about DoorDash being in round 1 is, yes, it's going to bring back some and it doesn't matter if you get a mistake once, because
patched here from Media Time.
Of these top tiles, like those eyeball ones, you do a jump dive and time it right, you can get on them, walk all the way to the left side, just keep jumping over stuff to the left side, and just walk off the map, and it will spawn you right here where they are at the top of the last section. It is a very risky move, because if you miss it, it's over. And oh my lord, that was really close for Reserved again.
Yeah. You know, he got pushed back there on that final push on that last wall. You can see they were all there, and it's that 1 to 2 seconds where it's a make or break moment for your squad.
Yeah, but as long as they both make it, you're talking a good game. They can't afford to lose someone, because like we were saying, they're out 300 points again. It's a 1,000-point difference, a 995-point difference, and they're out 300 roughly just because of the rounds that they died. And if they would have just survived those rounds, same way for crowns, which wouldn't have happened because there would have been 2 people in which 300
Slightly Salty to bring it back here. And you know, would they need to clutch out
crowns, the next 2 crowns? But you're already at a point where Dynasty, if they win a crown, it's pretty much over. If they win this crown,
He's a good
it's
way,
it's gonna be over. The game 5 is gonna be more of a fun game than anything based on the score difference, unless you see some insane plays. And you saw there that grab coming in. They didn't want Reserve to take first place, but that still gave first place to Smock.
Wow, that was insane here. You see that grab to bring back Reserve, pulling him down on that middle bridge. What a sneaky, sneaky play. I am impressed. I can't even barely get my grabs when I play. And for them to do that at the same time as pushing for another jump on the left side. But here you have...
You're seeing some bad jumps right here by Soul, which is going to put Soul a little bit behind. But you see there's a fight now between Smock and Ryan. Ryan gets across, Smock comes over, but now they're both on that top box again. And you see Ryan actually get through and take that first place. That's going to be really big, going to just rebuttal of a gold medal for a gold medal. But is everyone going to get through? Because Reserve is still having some issues. Reserve does make it. It's going to get in there a little late, and I think that's going to be a silver across a gold. Smock got a silver, and if Soul got a silver, I think Reserve may have gotten a bronze, which is going to be a 2-medal swing in the favor of Dynasty there. So yeah, that's a bronze, silver. Is he can then run over to Soul, you just go get your last point, and it's over.
Cameras are fast, boy.
But we do see a gold attempt. We did see one of the NPCs actually get the long jump, which is really good because not often can you see them getting it. There's a spawn in the middle. You see Soul just trying to get over there, trying to get in position for it. Soul misses the jump, falling before probably hitting jump input right there. But no one got it.
As a top player, you know, if it gets given to an NPC, are you typically just going to be hunting down those gold rings? Or are you going to be wanting to go for white chains? Are we going to be splitting it half and half? Or, oh, you got Soul going for that quick wall.
You usually only want to grab what's around you and what's closest, and what's going to be really bad is both Soul and Ryan have qualified, and they both have gotten silvers. So that's going to leave Smock and Reserve. They both have 5 out of 6. They're both going to qual, but this is low enough that they may be getting bronzes themselves, which is going to hurt their overall kudo numbers again. And this is just giving small amounts of kudos to Dynasty to where even if Slightly Salted win this next game, they may still have to grief a little bit because we're going to be looking at a 400, almost 500 point lead for Dynasty right now. And if they can extend that to a 735, that means the crown in game 5 doesn't mean anything.
Then it's game, set, match. They're up by a whole crown at that point.
Place your bets.
But you do always, again, you have the RNG to potentially walk into a jump showdown or get the double crown at the end. There's always the chance. It's just always RNG to hit that.
Yep, there is the blessed RNG. Can they make Slightly Salty have a chance at redemption here? Anything is possible. We are going in, finding ourselves a nice little qual for all 4 players here. Let's see what we get for a final game.
That's why we've lost to them both times.
And we're going to be getting ourselves a full 4-man hexagon this time. So this is going to be an interesting round.